The gospel is this, that you were created on purpose and for a great purpose. That purpose wasn't to get rich or travel the world. That purpose was to have a right relationship with God. You were created to have a relationship with Him. But unfortunately, because of sin that entered into this world through Adam and Eve has permeated through this whole world. The soil is no longer viable for us. We cannot grow here in this world. We are in soil that is dying. We are turning white. Sin separated us from God. God, who's holy and perfect, will not be in its presence. But God, in all His wisdom, saw our greatest need, and it was for a Savior. It was for Jesus Christ. And so just the right moment in time, He sent down His one and only Son, Jesus Christ, to be born of a virgin and to do the one thing we could not do. He lived a perfectly sinless life. 100% He walked in the will of God, and He accomplished the will of God, and He was spiritually fed because of it. Jesus went to the cross where He bore the wrath of God for you and for me. He was nailed to that cross, and in that moment He was separated for the first and only time from the Father. He took the sins of the world upon Himself so that we might receive His righteousness. Christ died and He was buried, but He arose on the third day, proving He was who He says He was, and He could do what He says He could do. He proved He was God. He overcame the greatest obstacle for any of us. He overcame death. The Bible tells us if you confess with your mouth that Jesus is Lord, you believe in your heart that God raised Him from the dead, you too will be saved. God says all you have to do is trust Jesus. Remember, we're talking about an active trust. John wants us to develop an active trust. He says believe over 100 times. It means he wants us to actively trust that Jesus is Lord. Not just know it. You've got to know it in your heart. Hand it all over, and when you do, He gives you everything. Guys, I want you to think about that. This doesn't happen anywhere else in the world where you don't have to do anything but surrender, and they give you everything. There are no other kings, there are no other rulers anywhere where you surrender and they give you everything. You surrender and they take it all away. God says if you will surrender, He says, I'm going to give it all to you. What an amazing gift that is. He's offering you the kingdom keys right now. But you've got to hand it over to Christ.